Today we are glad to have with us Dr. Vimalendra Kumar, and he's going to speak on Buddhist education and its role to modern society. Let me give you a brief introduction about him before we start the lecture. Vimalendra Kumar started his academic career as a lecturer in the Department of Indo-Tibetan Studies, Vishwabharati University, Shantiniketan. At present, he is the professor of Pali, Department of Pali and Buddhist Studies in Banaras University, Varanasi. His publications include over 70 articles in various scholarly journals published from India and abroad. He has edited and authored 10 books, namely Theory of Relations in Buddhist Philosophy, then Gandhavamsa, A History of Pali Literature, Perspective of Tibetan and Buddhist Studies, and many more. Besides, he has also presented research papers in more than 75 national and international seminars and conferences. He had academic visits to Portugal, UK, West Germany, France, Mexico, Thailand, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Singapore, Vietnam, and China. 20 research scholars have been awarded PhD degree under his supervision, and presently 7 research scholars are working under his guidance for PhD degree course. He had been member of Board of Studies examination committees and syllabus revision committee of some of the Indian universities. Presently, he is one of the members of advisory committee of Standalone Center of Buddhist Studies, University of Hyderabad, Center for Buddhist Studies, University of Pune, Vishwabharati, Arya Mahila PG Mahila College, Varanasi, and member of Board of Studies, Department of Indo-Tibetan Studies, Vishwabharati University, Bharat Adhyayan Kendra, Varanasi. Before we start the lecture, I'm glad to inform you that on 30th of March we are going to have Venerable Kabir Saxena again, and he's going to speak on Buddhist principles in action for a peaceful, better and harmonious world.
यह प्रतिष्ठितपादं प्रपंचो समस्यं देशयामास सम्बुद्धं वन्दे भरताम्बरं प्रदृष्टिप्रहरणात् सधर्मम् अदेशयत् अनुकंपाम् उपादाय तं नमस्यामि गौतमम्. Most reverend monks, senior persons sitting in this seminar hall, and my dear friends, it is indeed a matter of great pleasure to get associated with a series of lectures on Buddhism and contemporary society. I have been asked to tell something on Buddhism and Buddhist education. Before I start my lecture on Buddhist education, first of all, I will discuss what is Buddhism. Most of the lectures have been given to you by the resource persons on Buddhism also, but before coming to main theme of my lecture, Buddhist education, I will discuss some of the things related with what is Buddhism. The term Buddhism, generally we understand that to understand the teachings of the Buddha. In another way, Buddhism is understood as the religion, philosophy related with the teachings of the Buddha. But in technical sense, Buddhism is a psycho-ethical thought and practice, pariyatti and padipatti, which takes a being from the state of suffering to the state of eternal bliss. Buddha also says that I preach only two things, that there is a suffering and there is a cessation of suffering. Dveme bhikkhame desemi dukkham cha dukh nirodham cha. In between that, he prescribed a middle path that is known as Majjhima Patipada, Madhyama Pratipada, that is middle path, which was experienced by the Buddha. That middle path is nothing but it is a name of Arya Thangiko Maggo. We see that Buddha, when he preached the first sermon at Saranath, Varanasi, that is known as Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, he asked that, O monks, the 5 fold monks he addressed that Dume Anta na pavijitena sabitabba. O monks, these two extremes should not be followed by a person who has renounced the household life. What are the Katme Dve? Kamesu Kam Sukhullika Nuyogo, Hino Gammo Pathijanko Anaryo Anat Sahito, Atkil Mathanuyago, Hino Gammo Pathijanko Anaryo Anat Sahito. That there are the two extremes, Ant, they are called as Kamesu Kam Sukhullika Nuyogo, that associations related with the sensual pleasure, the pleasure which is being experienced by our five senses. And there is another, you can say, extreme, Ant, that is called as Atkil Mathanuyogo, that association related with the self-mortification or self-penance. And these two extremes which are leading, they are treated as ignoble, low, and they are unprofitable, they are meaningless. That is why Buddha that Ubho Anta Majhima Patipada Tathagatena Abhisambuddha Chakshu Karni Yan Karni Upsambha Nibbana Samatatri. That in between these two extremes, he prescribed a middle path, Majhima Patipada, which was expressed by our Tathagat the Buddha, and that leads towards a state of eternal bliss, that is the Nibbana, and which gives wisdom to the eye, and which gives, you can say, peaceful state or eternal bliss. Then what is the Katmacha Sa Bhikkave? What is that middle path which was expressed by our Tathagat or the Blessed One? That is Aimeo Ariyo Athangiko Maggo Sethitam Samma Ditti, Samma Sankappo, Samma Vacha, Samma Kamatto, Samma Ajibo, Samma Vyamo, Samma Sati, Samma Samadhi. These are the eightfold path, you can say. These eightfold paths are summarized into three, you can say, stepped path that is called as Seal, Samadhi and Panya. The first two, Sammadhitti and Samma Sankappa, the right vision and the right determination, are treated as Panya, that is the Pragya or right understanding. The middle four are treated as, you can say, Seal, that is the morality, and the last two, which are treated as the, you can say, Samadhi. Again, if you are summarizing the whole teachings of the Buddha in one verse of the Dhammapada, there is a Sabpapas Akaranam Kusalasya Upasampada Sachit Paryodapannam Etam Buddhana Sasanam. That don't do immoral things, do moral things, purify your consciousness. This is the, you can say, order of the Buddha. That is the whole essence of the teachings of the Buddha, which is available in the verse Sabpapas Akaranam Kusalasya Upasampada Sachit Paryodapannam Etam Buddhana Sasanam. That Sabpapas Akaranam, don't do immoral things. This is nothing but it is the name of the seal. Second is the, you can say, Kusalasya Upasampada, that do moral things, that is called as the, you can say, Samadhi. And Sachit Paryodapannam, purify your consciousness. This is nothing but it is the name of the Pragya. That is the Panya, you can say, right understanding. So the whole teachings of the Buddha can be summarized into the three-stepped path, namely Seal, morality, Samadhi, concentration, Panya, right understanding. This is what we understand the, you can say, Buddhism or Bauddha Dharma or the teachings of the Buddha, what we generally understood. With having a background of this Seal, Samadhi and Panya, the whole Buddhist education can be understood with the three-stepped path of the Buddha, that is the Seal, Samadhi and Panya. In the Sanyukta Nikaya of Sutta Pitaka, there is a sutta which is called as Jata Sutta. In the Jata Sutta, we find that once upon a time, the Blessed One was dwelling at Sravasti, Jetvan Mahavihar, in the Nath Pindak monastery. In the middle night, A Devaputra, the son of the deity, approached to the Buddha and he asked a question that Anto jata bahi jatai jatai jatita paja totam gotam puchhami ko imam vijate jatamti. There is a tangle inside, there is a tangle outside. O Gautam, I ask you again and again, who can disentangle this tangle? In answer to this question, the Buddha, the Blessed One, answered the, you can say, verse that is called as Silipatitha Narosa Payo Chittam Payam Cha Bhavayam Atapi Nippo Bhikkhu So Imam Vijate Jatamti. That after establishing in the path of morality, a person may develop concentration samadhi and panya, right understanding, and an ardent bhikkhu and sagacious person can disentangle the tangle. That was the answer given to the Devaputra by the Blessed One. And this is Sil, Samadhi and Panya. And we have also recorded that how Acharya Buddha Ghosh went to Sri Lanka and he composed a magnum opus work, Visuddhi Magga, that is the path of purification, based upon these two verses which were given by the chief abbot of the monastery Anuradhapur Mahavihar of Sri Lanka. So that was the, you can say, path of purification. In the path of purification, Visuddhi Magga, Acharya Buddha Ghosh in the 23 chapters has given that how by practicing Sil, Samadhi and Panya, a person can get a state of purification, that is the Visuddhi, which is nothing but Sabmal Virahitam, Achant Parisuddham Nibbanam Tibeditabam, that a state of eternal bliss which is immense pure and which is devoid of all the impurities, that is called as, you can say, Visuddhi, that is the, you can say, a state of eternal bliss, that is another name of Nibbana. So this is the background of, you can say, Buddhism. Based upon this, you can say, background of Buddhism, we are coming to this Buddhist education. In this lecture, I have tried to summarize that what is the Buddhist education. First of all, I have discussed that what was the Indian culture at the time of the Buddha and what was the difference between the Brahminical culture and the Shramanic culture and how these two Shramanic cultures were running at that time and what was the speciality of the, you can say, Buddhist education based upon the Shramanic culture. So, first of all, I have discussed about the Indian culture at the time of the 6th century BC. Then I have discussed that what is the meaning of the Buddhist education, what is the concept of the educations, and what are the, you can say, concept based upon this, the concept of Bihar, Mahavihar, and you can say Mahallik Bihar, which were developed in India, and based upon these centers of higher learning, how the centers of learning were developed in other parts of the world, in Tibet, China, Cambodia, and other, you can say, Sri Lanka and Myanmar, and how this Buddhist educations became part and parcel of our Indian culture, and how we have imbibed the, you can say, Buddhist culture or Buddhist education in our present society also, and what are the role of the Buddhist education in the, you can say, present society. So first of all, I have given the, you can say, dimensions of the Indian culture. And as we know that there was two types of culture, Shramanic culture and the Brahmanic culture. As we know that the Brahmanic culture, which was based upon the, you can say, intellectuals who were guided by the Brahmanas, and there was another culture which was known as the Shramanic culture, which was based upon the Shramans, we can say. The Shramans, which were Mahavir, Jain, Ajit Kes Kambal, there were the 6 contemporary teachers at the time of the Buddha. That was the Puranakasap, Makhali Gosal, Ajit Kes Kambal, Nigathnath Put, Sanjay Belatti Put. These were the 6 contemporary teachers at the time of Buddha. They were belonging to the, you can say, Shramanic culture. There was another culture which was, you can say, Brahmanic culture, which were, you can say, guided by, you can say, led by our Brahmanas. The difference between Brahmanas and the, you can say, other non-Brahmins or the Brahmanic culture was that Brahmanas were devoted, or you can say believers of the, you can say, Varna Vyavastha. There were the 4 types of Varna Vyavastha at the time of the, you can say, 6th century BC. That was the, you can say, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaisyas and Sudras. So there was system of the Varnas by the Brahmanas. In the Brahmanic cultures, there was no any concept of the caste, color and the creed. All were equal. Buddha says that Chattaro Banna Samsama Unti, and they are also, you can say, eligible for getting a state of eternal bliss. The Brahmanic cultures, the people who were believing the Brahmanic cultures, they were having the karma bhag. They were believing in the, you can say, concept or the theory of the actions. Whatever we are doing the actions, based upon the resultant of the moral and immoral actions, a man, you can say, get the resultant. They were Samtavadis also. They are called as the Samta, you can say. They were believing that all the Varnas are the equal. No one is the, you can say, superior than others, you can say. In the Sutnipat or Dhampad, we are having so many verses related with the equality of all the, you can say, Varnas. Na chacha hoti vaslo, na chacha hoti brahmano, na chacha hoti vaslo, na chacha hoti brahmano, kamuna hoti vaslo, kamuna hoti brahmano. So by the action, a person is called as, you can say, Brahman, and by an action, a person is called as a Vasala, that is the low person. That was the, you can say, speciality of these 2 cultures. Again, what we are having the, you can say, in Buddhism, there were the 3 Ratnas, 3 jewels, Buddha, Dham and Sangha. A Buddha is not an ordinary person. So he is having the, you can say, 10 paramitas. Because of the performance of the 10 paramitas during the, you can, 550 births, whatever we are having in the Jatakas, in the form of the Bodhisattva, he became Buddha. And because of the paramitas, he is called as a Buddha, you can say. He got the enlightenment, he got the, you can say, 4 noble truth. He got the reality that what is the anicca, dukkha and anatta, what are the things which are subject to the impermanence, what are the things which are subject to the suffering, and what are the things which are subject to the soulless. He came to know through this, then he became the Buddha. He is also called as Dasbaldhar, and because of the qualities, he is called as a Buddha. Iti piso bhagava arha sabba sambuddho vichachara sampanno sugato lok buddhi purusa dhamma sarathi iti piso bhagava. Because of having the qualities, he is called as a, you can say, Buddha. I am not going to discuss all the good qualities of the Buddha. Again, Dhamma. Dhamma is nothing but the, you can say, in another way, it is called as a, you can say, teachings of the Buddha. In a nutshell, it is nothing but it is the name of the 4 noble truth, eightfold path, and the law of dependent origination, Patisabhushpad. The Dhamma is designated as a, you can say, Dhamma Chakra, that is the, you can say, the 12 links. As we know that in the law of dependent origination, it is said that there is no self-independent entity. Everything comes into existence dependent on some cause and conditions, hetu and tapachya. Imasmim sati idam hoti, imasmim asati idam na hoti, imas upada idam upajjati, imas nirodha idam nirujjati. That based upon this, there is the existence of the this. Based upon there is no existence, there is no arising of any dhamma or a state. So this is the, you can say, law of dependent originations, and there are the 12 links. from the Abhijja Pachaya, Sankhara, Sankhara Pachaya, Beyond Pachaya, Namrup Pachaya, Fasya Pachaya, Salaytan Pachaya, Vedana Pachaya, Tanha Pachaya, Upadan Pachaya, Bhav Pachaya, Jati Pachaya, Jaramar. These are the 12 links which unite, you can say, a person in the process of repeated existence, that is the Bhav Chak Parampara. Lastly, that is the Sangh. As we know that the Sangh is the name of the assembly of the persons which have come together after removing all the discriminating factors. It is not that a Sangh is a, you can say, assembly of the persons. After this expelling or removing all the discriminating factors like caste, color and the creed, they have assembled in one group, in one assembly. That is the name of the Sangh, you can say. And we know that after the first sermon of the Buddha, how there was the origin of the Sangh, how the Buddha with the fivefold monks and Yas with the 54 friends. Originally there were 6